Hello everyone and welcome to episode number 3 of our Planet Coaster Park, which by the way still doesn't have a name. If you have name suggestions, leave them. I've not got many followers, but leave them name suggestions if you're watching this. Need a name for the park and for some of the rides, let me know. So yes then, what are we doing today? Well, first of all, what we're doing today is really struggling with these paths. I think the new pathing system is great, but boy did I struggle here. I just wanted a way for it to connect naturally that I just could not get to work for the life of me. I ended up settling with this, and then I had more trouble with the queue path. But anyway, yes, today we are carrying on with the fantasy theme, and we are building a swinging ride. Now this one is an even vaguer fantasy theme because it sort of leans into the more mythology Roman theme that the game has put into it, but whatever, that's fine. I wanted it to take up quite a small footprint because there is something else I've got planned for down here. But yes, I am very happy with how this turned out. Obviously, after much struggle with the path, here we go, I'm going to go again, look, struggle with that path, and then we're going to start theming some of it in once we've put these fence gates in. Okay, finally, we're going to start theming. Look, we'll get some rock work in, because who doesn't love a bit of rock work? We're also going to put some bushes in here, and then I put what I thought was flowers in, but it's actually reeds, like you get in a pond, you know, in water. I think I'm going to keep them anyway. They look enough like flowers to me. If it upsets people that much, I'll get rid of them, but I don't think it's bad. We are going to set up a hedge here as well. I'm loving a bit of hedging in this game recently. A bit of the topiary, if you will. You'll see I go back up to the fence just so we can sort of get an idea for sight lines. I think at the minute it all looks a bit too big basically, and so I'm going to put some trees in a little bit later that you'll see, and that is sort of going to help block off that sight line. Here we go with testing out some blocks for the fountains I'm going to put in behind. I realised that was too big and it's gridded. I don't really want anything on a grid. So yeah, we are going to put in these bases for the fountains. Now I do, as usual, cut a little bit off of this, and I do get a bit taken away with the fountain, and so you're not actually going to see too much of this get built. But yeah, this was a good build, but it was fairly annoying, you know. I hate all this rotating stuff. I can never get it straight, but I'm not really going to be perfectionist with this stuff. I'd like it to look good, absolutely, but I'm not particularly picky. I'm not going to fight over a slightly wonky brick. So you'll see we're changing the pathing around what is now our second flat ride and our first flat ride in the fantasy area. You'll have to let me know what you're thinking of this theme park so far. It is a challenge with the hills, I think. I think that definitely adds, that level of difficulty, because, you want to make a good theme park, but it is hard in, a game mode like this where you're trying to make everything make sense. I don't really want stairs everywhere. And so I've sort of strayed away from the realistic type of thing. And now, we're not really got a budget in mind. We're not really going for realism. I just want a good theme park that looks like maybe it could exist if it was, a little bit of a stretch, let's say. Anyway, I will let you sit with some of that nice Planet Coaster soundtrack while I build some more. Yep, here's another one of my bloopers. I spent forever trying to get this wall to work, and I realised after enough time that I couldn't get this curved piece to work here. You'll see I keep on trying to work it, it's not really working very well. But yeah, I think I wanted to cage in this fencing, just give it a bit more of a posh look, you know, really zhuzh it up a little bit, some would say. But yeah, it doesn't work basically, no matter how hard I try. So I actually use one of the freeform walls that you'll see here. I think that works a lot better for something like this, and I just end up making that go round in the curve of the path, and then I end up extending the path a little bit so it looks like, you know, it's actually fitting within those walls. We're adding a little wall down here again with that slope that follows the path, and there you go, we're testing the ride, getting some sight lines in. Obviously I will show you that later because it is all going very fast at the moment. Again, I'm trying to work this curve. You can see it's very blocky, which is not really what I wanted, but it is probably the best I could have done, being very unprofessional in this game. Let's say I don't really know what I'm doing, but I'm having fun and I'm really liking this park. We're putting in our second fountain in here. I don't know why, it just feels like something that makes sense with fantasy, you know. We're kind of gone for the castle and we have another fountain surrounded by the flower bed. Why not? And then here I'm just putting some water in these fountains just so you can sort of see what I'm going for. But let's cut to the real time and I'll show you how it looks when it's finished. Alright then, and the next part of our park is pretty much done here. Again, there's still some work I want to do. I probably want to get some more done along this wall I've added on the back. I'll be honest, I stopped filming and then I got a bit carried away with everything. So, you know, I've added some more walls around here and all this planting and stuff. So I apologise, I got very carried away. But yeah, I'm fairly happy with this. I think I'm happiest that it doesn't take up a lot of room. And I'm guessing you probably saw during that time lapse, I tried to place a log flume down here. Now obviously I would make my own, but I don't know if we'll fit one in here, because I was thinking this area here I want to do a little restaurant around, and then this area here, could we fit a little log flume in it? Maybe. I tried to make this take up as little room as possible by making it come round in this curve here, which I am fairly happy with. It does look good from all of the angles, really. I really like the way, look, if I do it here, you can see it spinning round. I'm fairly happy with that. And then the queue, I think the queue's long enough, maybe not. I actually probably think this one that we did last episode might not be long enough. But yes, I am indeed fairly happy with that. So I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll do a couple more shots of this, you know, explore it a little bit. We did these fountains around the back and this rock work here. Again, I'm probably just going to have this fence going along here. I just think it's a really nice fence, and for the fantasy area it just kind of works. And then yeah, the fountains around here I'm happy with. It's kind of, you know, you see a lot of these swinger rides with fountains, and so I wanted to replicate something a little bit like that. Anyway, I will let you all on the ride now. Obviously it is just a typical flat ride, so if you want to skip this portion of the video, that is fine. But anyway, yeah, so we'll have a go on here, so I will leave you with the POV. So thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye!